Well, we're here in the cave. I'm with Mr. Joel Turner and shout out Q, and I got my new RX-8. I'm doing something a little bit different. He came here, my dad's starting to shoot a bare bone bow without a sight, compound. I saw it, didn't know what to think at first, but I shot his bow and I'm gonna give it a go. So Mr. Joel here's gonna show us how to set everything up and
yeah, it's just like shooting a stick bow on steroids, right? I mean, it gives you a very simple sight picture. So essentially when you're looking down this thing, what you're gonna look at, if you wanna look at this thing, and this is gonna sound crazy, I get it, right? But it's a very effective way, especially for hunting, because you don't necessarily have to judge range. So you're gonna use this fork, because he's left-handed, he's gonna use this fork for his left and right. So when he draws back and aims, all you have to do on animals is you put this fork right in the crease of their shoulder, right in whatever line you want to hit them, right? And then the arrow, when you look at this arrow, you're going to be looking at it kind of from the side. So you'll be able to see the arrow from the side, and you can see the ramp from the side, which gives you your elevation. So like when I shoot my system, my arrow is level with the heart at 20, and at 40, it's level with the top of its back. So at 30, it's level with perfectly in the middle of the lung. So yeah. Like between 20 and 40, I can see exactly what's going on. But when you go beyond that, you'll be able to memorize your trajectory path. So shoot the brightest flesh as you can, or shoot lighted nocks to start out with. So your mind can memorize the trajectory path. And then you can go 50, 60, whatever you want to do, up until you get to the level of the shelf. Like there's going to be a distance where the shelf is the level of target. It's probably around 80. So you'll be able to just put that thing at 80. Not that I'm saying to shoot critters that far, but it is fun to watch your arrow fly that far, right? So especially if you shoot a lighted nock. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 nock points on here, and then the loop is going to go underneath the arrow, and that will get it closer to your eye. The entire loop. And it's going to look weird because it's a long loop, right?
I saw that my dad's.
Where you anchor with that, it's going to be back around the corner of your cheekbone, back in this pocket, where that split is on the release. That goes right in that notch.
Right along that
Right, so
cheekbone.
It goes right in that notch,
there.
and then the loop lays right along your cheek, and so that you can just look right down that arrow. It's such a cool sight picture. I grew up shooting recurves and stuff, but when I started shooting compounds, I've only shot like 3 critters with a sight in my whole life. And I just love watching the arrow fly. And when you shoot with a sight, it's one of the things you get robbed of, is actually seeing your arrow flight. So to shoot this way, I realize it's kind of weird, but you get to watch that arrow just come out of your eyeball and just spin and go into the pocket. It's such a cool thing. So we're gonna set this up. I realize this is your brand new bow, but we're gonna get this thing set up. We're gonna go shoot some barebow with it. It's gonna be awesome.
Sounds good, I'm excited.
All right. Again, we're doing the double constrictor knot for our nock points. Super clean. Can you grab me one of your arrows, please?
Here you go, sir. So the nock point goes above, and you have the D-loop below.
We're gonna have nock point, and then D-loop.
Okay.
And usually, when you shoot with the loop completely underneath the arrow, your nock point's gonna be just slightly higher than normal, right?
Okay.
So it'll look like if you line it up on straight edges and such, it's gonna look like it's just a hair pointed downhill. Okay.
And why the double constrictor knot?
It's such a solid knot, and it can't ever come loose, and it's super clean. It burns down well. So I learned how to tie this knot from tying slingshot bands. I didn't know about this knot. And you know, everybody's always stacking square knots and doing all kinds of craziness with their nock points. But this thing, when it's tied with that 80-pound Dacron fishing line, it's super clean. The Dacron burns really well. And so I've used it for, gosh, a lot of years. It's not tunable. Like some people like their nocks to be tunable, but every time I've used a tunable nock, it has tuned itself, meaning it has moved.
Yeah.
So one thing now, what's the axle on this? Is it a 33?
I believe so.
Okay, so once you get down below like 35 inches axle to axle, you have to leave a little bit of a gap in here because again, you're pulling from below the arrow. you're not pulling with the loop around the arrow, it's below the arrow. So you'll have some knock pinch. If you put these too tight, put your knock points too tight, you'll get knock pinch in there. So
do you want to check that?
A little gap.
I actually don't know what this one is, Axel.
Should be 33. Most positive. 34.
34?
Okie dokie. 34, that's even better. That means it's built to shoot with no sights.
Oh, well, perfect then.
That's what Hoyt told me.
How many people do you think you've moved over from sights to go to?
Not very many.
Not very many?
Not very many, unless they're like your dad that shot for years and years and years and just got a little bit bored with all the stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
We're going to use this material, which is BCY 23 instead of the 24 that you guys have.
How come?
This is Spectra because it's more limber.
And you always put the tail end on the outside of the
This
D-loop.
is, yeah, well, to do it this way, you know, normally your knock would be in here.
Yeah.
So, but we're protected by a knock point now, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Because no matter what, it's going to pull itself together pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so good. Okay.
That is awesome.
She's ready to shoot.
Alrighty.
Okay, so right fork
Yeah, because it's
in
lefty.
the crease.
In the crease.
And then you'll see level-wise where you need to be.
Okay.
Okay. So he's got his Hoyt RX-8. He's got his stand on his clicker. We've got the 2 knock points around the knock, right? We've got our loop, long loop, so it can go along his cheek. Show me that anchor point, bro. It's so cool. So he comes up here in his anchor point, right? And you'll see that the string almost touches his eyebrow there, but his back here with this split, that's right on that cheekbone. So now he can look right down the arrow. He can see the pitch of that arrow. Then he works through that release like a boss. And he gets to shoot him right in the middle. I mean, look at it, kid. Isn't that cool?
Oh, that's awesome. It's so cool to just watch it. Just like you were saying.
Like your dad said, man, that's what archery's about, bro.
You think you can see the flight of your arrow when you're shooting with a sight, but until you do this, you have no idea. You gotta try it. You gotta try it. Now, I'm gonna practice a lot before I go out at all for an actual animal to go hunt, but it's gonna happen. It's gotta happen. We're shooting our new RX-8s without a sight.
The Joel Turner way, baby.
Easy the clip. There you go. Good.
Ooh.
That's what I'm talking about.
What are you shooting, RJ?
Hog? What are you shooting?
I was thinking about the elk.
Let's do the elk.
Oh!
We'll do the elk. I'll do the elk.
Okay.
Woo! That was doggy. Oh, I was so confident, too. Oh!
What are your questions at this point? Smoked.
Oh, baby!